At a football field's distance away, you can already start to hear the propellers, so by the time it gets right up next to you, it's already too late. On Monday in Monterey, this is okay, but by Wednesday, you could be facing a citation from police just for sitting on the sidewalk. And then if you walk over here with me, there's another bullet hole. Police say that one of the stray bullets that hit this office was one of the bullets that struck the 4-year-old girl. Trying to scale this 6-foot wall.
Deputies say they get tripped up most in the background check section.
Amanda and Spencer, the bottom line is this. The Salinas Police Department has 130 sworn staff. The chief says they need to get about 24 more positions filled to feel comfortable. The thing about propane gas is that it's heavier than air, anything that could be used as a weapon. So right here, we have my microphone, but in the midst of all the objects, there's also a knife.
It gives them a real-world environment with a fire department response.
And he is breathing.
An injured victim in a neighborhood and learning how to set up a medical treatment area.
But it is important to know how to organize and be identified as part of a community emergency response team.
Today, 80 CERT members showed up for training in Monterey, testing new technology that alerted them to the specific location. Mobilizing in groups, their objectives ranged from assessing the damage, securing the safety of the injured, or informing neighbors of the emergency, all the while practicing communication.
That was Skyline checking in.
Giving first responders an extra hand.
Water! CERT fills that gap by having citizens trained to form in their neighborhoods, go out in their communities, and as we use in our motto, do the most good for the most people.
One of the big advantages CERT has during a natural disaster, when the power goes out and the cell phones are down,
the radio always works.
CERT was on the beaches for the West Coast tsunami alert after the earthquake in Japan, keeping people away from the ocean. And most recently in January, CERT found the body of missing Marina woman Carrie Leach.
I think the best thing is working together with our neighbors to deal with an emergency, recognizing it'll happen sooner or later, and that you can do something.
Neighbors helping neighbors.
We've got to continue our assessment.
When disaster strikes. In Monterey, Jake Reiner, News Channel 5. Jazz, Spencer, I'm in downtown Napa, and some of these buildings have started to look like they're falling apart. For instance, right behind me is the post office. You can see the foundation of the building has completely crumbled on the ground. It also has a red tag saying it is unsafe to go in right now. But in all of the rubble, we found a story of an antique that stood the test of time until now.
At 3:19 in the morning, and everything was really peaceful. And right at 3:20, you saw the jolt, and then the cameras went off.
That's security footage at a local bed and breakfast, a snapshot in time that produced this. A church separating from its foundation, water continuing to leak, and this iconic shot of the Napa earthquake brought the media to wine country. A woman's chimney crumbled. She remembered the quake this way.
It was more of a smooth but just continual motion, like the house was sashaying back and forth.
What's not sashaying back and forth is where an antique chandelier with a lot of history behind it once hung. The McClellan Priest Bed and Breakfast here was pretty much unharmed by the earthquake, but I want to show you something. This chandelier, it was put in 1879, which means it's more than 100 years old, and the owner says that it's withstood 3 previous earthquakes, including the one in 1989.
That's my only sadness that I have, aside from the fact I'm very grateful no one was harmed or hurt.
Celeste Carducci Ann Felt is referring to the full house of guests she had the night of the quake, but despite the shock to the system, business is steady, if not thriving, she said.
Tomorrow we have 3 more rooms checking in, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday we're sold out, so we're good.
As for the chandelier, she said it's repairable. Most importantly, the glass bulbs displaying all 4 seasons. All told, the damage assessment is considerable.
I couldn't imagine it being more than probably $8 grand at this point, but I can't say for sure.
One of the interesting things this bed and breakfast owner told me was that this community is really tight-knit, so much so that the hospitality businesses like hers were in contact with the restaurants to see when they would open so that she could send her guests to them while she was looking at repairs. Live in downtown Napa, I'm Jake Reiner, News Channel 5.
You go into the hospital with a stomach ache and you leave with somebody telling you that your child has cancer.
12-year-old Trinity Diaz was diagnosed with childhood leukemia last February. She's now in remission and back home again in Salinas after a 2-week hospital visit caused by pancreatitis.
She's the first in 5 generations that we know of that has ever been sick like this.
What kept her smiling for the past 8 months? Her infatuation with mustaches. A mustache on her stuffed animal, her cup, her phone case, the wall. Even her shirt features a dinosaur with a mustache. Or should I say, Stashosaurus.
So Trinity, tell me, what is it about the mustache that you love so much?
Because they're curly.
She really couldn't put it into words, but whatever the reason, she can't get enough. So much so, the family started an Instagram account called Mustache TD for Trinity Diaz. People from all over the community sent in their photos with mustaches of all shapes and sizes.
It blessed me tremendously.
Even though she's in remission, tomorrow means more chemotherapy, this time in her spine.
I know that she's going to live through all of this. She's going to go through life and have an education and get married and have kids, and she's going to overcome this.
You don't want to get married, do you?
In Salinas, Jake Reiner, your Central Coast News.